So this is my first time recording footage or attempting to record footage using an Adobe software with an Elgato 60S Plus capture card in order to attempt to record me playing Skyrim while gaming. So, I want to know what I can improve on with my equipment and whether I need to use a desktop computer in order to capture the footage properly or not. And I'm going to start a new playthrough in order to test this. I hope people who watch this video will enjoy it very much and continue to watch my channel for years to come, and I eventually hope to have enough money and influence in order to help revitalize areas of downtown Huntington, West Virginia that are like old factories and things like that. And I hope to eventually build a YouTube creator hub where people can record without disturbing their neighbors or that kind of thing in old factories. I plan to build the place in old factories so that I can eventually build a community of creativity in Huntington.
Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and amazing.
And I just hope that everybody enjoys my gameplay footage from this point forward even better than I have recorded in the past.
Shut up back there. What's wrong with him? Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Alfred Stormcloak, the true High King.
I eventually plan to figure out how to record like 100% properly once I take video production classes on how to properly edit videos and how to properly record my face and that kind of thing. But this is a first crude attempt at recording.
Why do you care? Unknowns.
And I would like feedback in the comments section on what I can improve on with my recording style, or what type of editing you would like to see, and that kind of thing. So, I've played through this like close to 60 or 70 times, and on the PC version of Skyrim, I have 444 hours of playtime for my time of playing Skyrim. And that's the original 11.11.11 release of Skyrim, not the remastered version that came out in 2019, I think. Yes, we know, Rayloth. Kid, you better get inside. You don't want to see an execution, because it'll ruin your experience of the world and traumatize you for years to come if you do. So
Face your death with some.
I've always wondered, could you possibly mod Skyrim to fully look like it's been transported into Star Wars? Because I think that would be a cool idea to see somebody create a full-blown mod that makes the Imperials feel like they are a branching narrative of an early Old Republic style empire. And the Stormcloaks could be a early branching narrative of a medieval version of the Rebel Alliance.
Who are you?
And I'm gonna choose Nord, or Imperial, I mean, because I think that the closest you can get to being a true Jedi in appearance in the game is the Imperial's skin, because Imperial body type, because you can make the last preset have a truly Jedi-like appearance when you choose the hairstyle of the short hairstyle, because it looks like an Obi-Wan hairstyle. See, this is the hairstyle that I'm talking about. And if you make his beard go from being the default beard to being more like that, it makes him look closer to Obi-Wan. And if you do that, you can most definitely make him look like Obi-Wan, or as close as you can get with the face models of Skyrim. And I'm gonna choose this one because it looks the closest to Obi-Wan, I think, when playing the game. So, one of the things that I think would really be cool to see is somebody also create a mod that actually allows you to travel around Skyrim without cutscenes, and also make a travel mod that is similar to the auto travel function of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla, so that you wouldn't have to be in the room 100% of the time while traveling. If they combined those two, I think it would make for an interesting experience in the game, and you could find locations faster that way rather than waiting for cutscenes to load and stuff like that, because oftentimes on the Xbox version, even from what I've seen of the Xbox Series X version, if you have a poor internet connection, it takes a long time for the cutscenes to load the game, and it's very annoying to see. And I just think it would be really an excellent experience to see that kind of thing happen. And so I'm just going to create Obi-Wan. I'm just going to name him Obi-Wan rather than Obi-Wan Kenobi, because I know that the game doesn't allow you sometimes to make extremely long names. And it's oftentimes annoying. Incredibly annoying, actually, now that I think about it. Because I would love to be able to build truly unique characters with really long names that are kind of like the Nordic or Scandinavian town names, because I've just always found that fascinating to see in videos.
You're a long way from the Imperial City. What are you doing in Skyrim? Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
Forget the list. He goes to the block.
Yeah.
By all this, Captain. I'm sorry. We'll make sure your remains are returned to civil. Follow the captain.
I know the guy right to the right of me, the redhead to the right of me, is gonna march up and say, "Let's get this over with. My ancestors are waiting for me. Can you say the same?"
Plunged Skyrim into chaos, and now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
And I've always wondered why the dragon just appears from behind the
Carry on.
guard tower
Give them their last
without warning or without an obvious direction that he flew from. And I think it would be cool to see either a portal that he travels through, since you know that he's partially trapped in essentially their version of Valhalla. Because of an Elder Scroll, and I think it would be cool to see him appear from a portal using a mod.
As fearless as death as he was in life.
Yeah, we know Rayloff. I'm no renegade, but
Here it is.
I understand that it's audio, pre-recorded audio files for the execution scene, and I think it would be cool to see somebody create a mod that changed up the dialogue depending on which race you chose, so that it wasn't always renegade from such and such or traitor from such and such. I think it would be cool to see like a audio recording of different dialects that they try and pronounce the region you're from. And I think it would also be really cool to see somebody create a dialect mod that made it so that you had different dialects for each region of Skyrim, and each town had their own unique dialogue of audio for the guards, the townsfolk. I know that they did proper accents, but I think it would be cool to see for less well-established towns audio dialogue that sounded more like they were not well off, and so they didn't have the funds to get a proper education and that kind of thing, but in well-populated, well-funded, well-established cities like Cyrodiil or the Imperial City, that they had proper accents and that kind of thing. And I think it would just be awesome to see somebody create a mod like that.
Looks like we're the only ones that made it. Was that really a dragon? Bring us to the end times? We should keep moving. Come in.
Yeah, Rayloth, I know. Or,
There you go.
not Rayloth,
Take a look around. There should be plenty of yet to choose from.
Hadvar.
See if I can find something for these girls. You better get some food.
And you always want to grab the money at this point and grab the books, because the more books you grab and read, the quicker your speechcraft will rise, and the quicker you will have a chance of building up your magicka knowledge, because the higher percentage chance you will have of getting a
Let's keep moving.
more powerful spell tome in different locations and that kind of thing. On one of my other playthroughs that I have on my Nintendo Switch, I have a level 67 orc that's the leader of the Thieves Guild, the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, and the leader of the Mages Guild. And I was able to do that in less than a week because of the simple fact that I chose to build up his reading stats so rapidly by reading every book I found and even collecting a majority of the books I found. And I think it's just kind of bizarre that you do some of the same animations every time. And I think it would be really nice to see somebody create different fighting style animations for different the different species and different races of
This way.
the game. And of course, we're heading to the dungeon. And I always like to attack this guy so that I can get his gauntlets. And his steel dagger. And I always, as I said, you should always grab every book you find. And make sure not to forget about the books that are over here. There's one right here on the bottom shelf. And there is one right here with a couple lockpicks. And be sure to grab the dagger. Even though I know you probably will have just grabbed the steel dagger. It's always good to grab iron daggers because they're a good source of money to get a quick amount of money, because you can always smith like hundreds of them. And it will oftentimes result in you getting a large amount of money really rapidly if you're an Imperial. Because if you pay attention to the character creation screen, they oftentimes will say in the dialogue of describing the Imperial preset that where others find a small amount of money, Imperials have a percentage chance of finding a higher amount of money than other people. And I always like to use Imperial voice because it allows me to get that guy's arrows and get a bow. And of course, he takes down the last of the goons. I choose not to take down the goons because it oftentimes results in a bloody mess, and I tend to get nauseous sometimes if I haven't had a good night's sleep before playing a game. And seeing blood sometimes makes me nauseous if I'm playing games when I haven't had a good night's sleep. And I oftentimes will pass this archway, then run back as soon as the boulder falls because I know that there will be gold this direction. And of course he always says that he's glad that boulder didn't come down on top of us, but I know that it's a timed thing in the code of the game that as soon as you pass the second threshold after you cross over the bridge, and he passes that same threshold, the boulder will fall. And I oftentimes run past the spiders, but sometimes I grab the poison from the spiders. But I let him grab the spider, kill the spiders, and then I head back and kill. Then I take their poison. But this time I'm just gonna breeze on through here. Because I know he will immediately jump past all that stuff. So I sometimes wonder why equipment in the games doesn't function like it should. In various games, there are sometimes pieces of equipment or pieces of code that you know should function, but you have a random 50-50 chance of having a gun or a sword glitch out. And I've always wondered why they don't update the games if it's a minor thing that could cause a major problem for people years after the game has been released. I know sometimes it's bugs that are deliberately left in as Easter eggs, but on some things, if it causes a console to crash, I don't understand why they don't just fix it. Because it's a bizarre situation to have happen. And I've uploaded at least one clip of Cyberpunk 2077 that has a texture glitch where everything spazzes all over the place. And it has caused my Xbox to freeze and then crash at least twice while playing Cyberpunk for my Xbox One. And I hope to upload many more videos in the future after this one, once I get a format down and understand how to edit videos and how to time certain edits and that kind of thing.
I'd be glad to help a friend. That explains what I saw earlier. We need to get word to Jarl Paul. Like I said, I'm glad to help in any way I can.
And I, of course, take all his supplies, and then I take all the metal that's right here, because if you do the Imperial playthrough, you automatically get free supplies in the form of equipment, materials to improve your equipment, and that kind of thing. And be sure to, as soon as you get to a blacksmith, sell all the equipment you know you don't need, and be sure to make sure you have all the equipment you do need, because it will 100% come in handy. And I make sure as soon as I get a sword to
May God watch over your back, friend. Blades, helmets,
build
anything to suit your needs.
build up the most optimal chance for a one-hit kill for all enemies that I come into contact with. Because it oftentimes is annoying when enemies don't respect your boundaries.
Good day.
And yes, I do this quest before I actually go to the Jarl, because when I first played the game, I did it the correct way. And I found that if you do it beforehand, you skip the dialogue you can skip the dialogue with the Jarl's wizard, and you don't have to meet up with the innkeeper beforehand. But for some reason, the dialogue still acts as though you have met up with her at the Jarl's castle.
Yeah, an ornament. You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. And the sooner you find... Now, before you get those thieves, you should have a root called Karen.
So this is going to be just where I'm going to stop the game. And so I hope that you can respond with suggestions on how I can improve my equipment for how I record, and improve on what I need to do to make sure the recordings are stable and that kind of stuff. And I would very much appreciate feedback on what I can do to improve my chances of getting more and more views and more subscribers. And I would love for people to subscribe, because I know that like less than 33% of you are watching my videos, and I only have 1.3% subscribed, and there are 98.7% of you who are not subscribed to my channel, and I would very much appreciate seeing more people subscribe when I upload, once I have a true system down for uploading and recording and that kind of thing. And I very much appreciate you commenting on every video that I have uploaded, and I will try to, once I understand the formula of how subscriptions and that kind of thing work, respond to every comment that I get on my videos. And I would love for those who are subscribed to go back through my channel and watch the videos that I've uploaded in the past and that kind of thing, so that I can continue to get views, because I am currently at 85,094, or 49, I mean. My dyslexia kicks in. And yes, I do have dyslexia. I'm also deaf in one ear, and I have ADHD and Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism. And I just would really enjoy people's feedback and their appreciation for my channel, and I hope everybody enjoys this video.